And then Carmen, do you want to kick us off for today?
Sure. Okay, welcome everybody. I am just really excited to be here actually. I just love how this all came about. Sarah, I last week I feel like I just kind of jumped in because I wasn't really explaining how this came about, but Sarah Weaver is just one of my she's just a gem in my world. Like she has aligned with me on so many levels and supported me, and I just absolutely appreciate her and adore her. And we get on phone calls and we talk about a lot of things. And what happened that a couple weeks ago is we got talking, and it was like, we should probably do a training together. And she keeps calling this my call, which I have to laugh because I want everybody to know that I chose to work with Sarah because as you all know, she brings so much value to our team and to all of Partner Co. I mean, she's just an absolute blessing. And so we just, when we get talking, we have a lot of we get ideas flowing, and we just get excited, and I just think we work really, really great together. So these Wednesday morning calls are really just us coming together and doing what we can to pour back into you some of the things that we talk about. So that's all this is. It's not any no pressure or whatever. We just want people we just want to bring value to your life. So Dr. Sarah Weaver, would you like to start?
Sure, I'm gonna share my screen. Thank you so much for those kind words, and that's something that 100% Carmen is right. We talk all the time, and I just actually told her before we started the recording. I said, Carmen, I said, I need to do all my calls with you because you just bring me such peace, and you make things just so much easier. I was like, so be ready for that phone call. I might need you on all my calls. But I love working together and I love this team. You guys are absolutely the sweetest. And I will, Carmen, I will remember that this is our call, not just yours. I will start correcting myself. I do apologize. All right. So today we're going to kick off the Partnership Power Hour, where we're going to be talking about perspective, purpose, and posture. Real talk, real value, but real growth. And that's one thing Carmen actually told me last week. She's like, this is just a conversation, us just having a conversation to help build everybody up, to give them tools that they need. And funny enough, Carmen, I did not put a full face of makeup on because I was like, I want people to see the real me, right? And I don't know, I just felt like it's part of my posture and my purpose is to always be authentic. And that's something that we talked about last week. And I'm going to plug this in real fast. We do have a YouTube channel, and I will put all that information in chat and everywhere that you guys have groups. We'll make sure that the YouTube channel information is put out there. I'm going to try to work on last week's call. There was some distortion with the video every single time I try to download it. You can, however, watch it. We do have a link that you can sign in, or just click the link. You don't have to sign in actually, and it'll take you directly to last week's call, and you can watch it. You can take some notes. But I'm hoping to have that downloaded on a different device, and hopefully it's not distorted because it made Carmen look like an alien, and it made me, whenever I talked, have a huge black screen. But hey, that's okay because we have it and everybody can watch it. So worst case scenario, it doesn't get put on the YouTube channel, but hopefully this week's will go great and there'll be no technical difficulties. All right, so let's move forward. Carmen, do you want to welcome everybody in officially?
Sure. Welcome everybody. Yeah, we are not just building a business. We are building people, purpose, confidence, leadership, and impact. That is the whole goal of, I believe, why we're in Partner Co. and why we're here. And this is really the big focus of our Wednesday morning trainings.
And some things that we want to make sure that you have: a notebook, an open mind, reflection, vision, and the willingness to grow. All right, let's jump right into things. So, perspective changes everything. This hit home to me whenever I started building this. Here's an example of this. If two people hear a dog barking, one side feels fear because they were attacked, past pain, right? Another side feels comfort because they were protected. Past protection, right? Same sound, but a different perspective. And I didn't think anything of this until, I was creating the slides and I was like, that is 100% the absolute truth. And people do not respond to just words alone. So want to make sure everybody knows that. They respond to the meaning their experiences attached to those words. Carmen, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. Like I was just kind of going over like reading last week or over the weekend about just I think to me it's all about personal development. And the harder we work on ourselves, the better like the we're gonna grow and we're gonna expand our network by doing that because we're gonna be able to I think it's all about when we're speaking with people, it's like putting ourselves over there, like letting, like, not like, we go into conversations and we assume, we have a plan and it's like, we'll tell them this and this is going to work or because this is what speaks to me. I think it's really important to really like, know who you're speaking to and understand that they might be receiving or perceiving what you're telling them completely different than what you're meaning. So I think it's just really important, very important slide.
But with that, you do not have to convince people. Our job is not to pressure anybody or even convince people, but something that you said, Carmen, goes along with this slide. Our job is to understand people, see them for where they are. They may not be in a position or same level that you are in life in general, right? But then our job is to also listen deeply, lead with empathy, communicate with peace. We always want to maintain peace if we can, but also speak with confidence because people can feel desperation, but also they can feel peace.
I would like to just say, like, this is where it all comes down to the posture. And this is where it really comes into our why. And because our why and understanding ourselves, which we'll get into in a bit here, but basically it's like, um, I'm sorry, you guys. The objections that we get, like it's really about understanding the person, asking those questions so that we learn. And when we find that person's need, then we know how to fill that need or we create the need if they don't even know they have a need. Some people don't even know they have a need or they do, but they just don't understand. So it's really, to me, it's all about communication.
I agree. And also listening deeply too, because you have to listen to what people are needing. And like Carmen just said, they may not even know that they need something. That's why it's very important for us to listen.
And ask the question.
Confidence is clarity. Sorry, go ahead, Carmen.
I was just going to say, just asking questions. That really helps, right? That's like if when we're asking questions, then we recognize God gave us two ears. Now we need to listen, and in that, when they answer, they're going to share that need.
Exactly. Exactly. And confidence is clarity. It's not arrogance. Again, it is clarity. If anything you write down today, make sure you write that down. But momentum begins with these four things: vision, belief, peace, and conviction. You don't drift into momentum, you decide into it. Carmen?
Yeah, this is huge, you guys. And I feel like that is the whole purpose of why we need to know our why we are here, because that gives us the confidence in and also knowing the vision of where you're going to go with this business. Having that conviction, a person with the most conviction wins the conversation always. People will buy into your belief, your vision, your confidence, and your confidence helps you with your posture. And I feel like that is just so, so important. And that is again, the whole purpose of Wednesday mornings is I just want people to really ask themselves the questions also before asking others. If we don't know who we are, it's really hard for us to help others. So we've got to kind of do the work ourselves first.
Exactly. And our business cannot build momentum. It doesn't just happen, right? You have to have that vision. You have to have that umph. You have to have that drive. And you have to decide, I'm all in, right? I don't know about you, Carmen. That was definitely something I did.
Well, you know what? That's exactly it. Whenever I join a business, I make a decision. And we heard it this morning on like James Zing. It's like where everybody, which I'll share into our group here in a bit, like the number to text all in. Like we have to make that decision for ourselves in order to help others. If we go into a conversation wishy-washy, like, I think I'm going to try this. Would you want to try it with me? No. If I call up Sarah and I say, Sarah, I'm doing this. I want you to join me. Or if I call up Sarah and say, hi, Sarah, I'm not sure. I found this thing. I'm not really sure about it. But, like, I want to try it. Like, would you want to too? Like, like, which one will give you more results, right? It's like, I know what I've got. I know I'm excited. I know where I'm going. I've made a decision. I'm all in. And don't let that fear and that doubt get in your head, because if you make a decision, things will start to shift and things will start to align.
100%. So, what did God place inside of you? He built you, every single one of us, right? What makes you come alive? What breaks your heart? What conversations energize you? Which I did say at the beginning, Carmen, you energize me, ma'am, all of our conversations. What are you naturally gifted at? What impact do you want to leave? Purpose creates energy. Vision gives people a reason to get out of bed. And kind of like what something Carmen just talked about was what James Zing mentioned on IPA, the club epic, right? It has created energy. It has given me purpose to go build my business. It has given me a vision, a reasoning to get out of my bed to go work my business. And so God has placed that fire inside of me, like, Sarah, come on, let's get off your back end. Let's go get to work, right? And so that's something that when we created this slide, I was like, that's something I have to talk about because people need to know that they have a purpose in life. And that purpose does create energy. And we have to show people, hey, and it goes back to also listening to what people say because they may not have fully um they may not have their vision fully painted for them. We might have to help them. And they may they may struggle to get out of bed every single day, right? That's why we have to help them create that vision so that they do feel like they have a purpose and so they do have a reasoning to get out of bed. Carmen, anything you want to add to that?
I do actually. I think that's where it boils down to, like, just having that community around you as well, because we want to we have a vision, we make decisions, and sometimes our doubt and fears will kind of creep in, and they can knock us down. And it's like, we start off here because we get emotionally excited about something. When we hear it, it's like, oh yeah, I can do that. I want to do that. But again, we're all here. We all get it, right? We have the fears and the doubts that will creep in and go, you can't do that. Oh, as if, well, they can do it, but you can't do it. And then we go into what Sarah really got into last week about comparison. So I feel like that's why it's really important to know what makes you come alive, what breaks your heart, and what conversations make you feel good. And that is where when we bring people into our community, just know, like, you're not alone. I'm not alone. We have each other and we come together. We align with other people that are on the same path we are, going the same direction. And sometimes your vision starts here, but eventually, when you start to really, when the business really gets into you, or when your why gets really established in you, that's when things really start to happen.
And that also goes to the next slide. Surround yourself with alignment. Surround yourself with people who are positive and who you align with. And that's why Carmen and I, we're best friends. And that's why we are having this call every Wednesday is because we both align together. Something I want to talk about is you become like the five people you spend the most time with. So you want someone who supports your dreams, challenges you and your growth, someone who inspires your vision, regardless of what it is, uplift your spirit, but also you want someone that's going to hold you accountable in everything, and especially this business, right? Choose your circle with intention because your circle shapes your future. And Carmen, I want to talk about something real fast, and you might have to help me here. There's scripture out there that talks about someone got a miracle and a blessing because of their friends. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Because of their friends.
Yeah, because their friends were believers and because they were aligned with that group. And I'll have to go find it. I'm sorry, I don't know it off the top of my head. I should have had this before our call here, but it just this reminded me of it. But in the Bible, there was someone who I don't know if they were a doubter or whatnot, but they ended up getting a miracle because of who their friends were. Their friends were praying for them, and God ended up blessing them.
I love that, Sarah. I want that in the Bible because I actually don't know what you're talking about and I really want to. So I think that's actually, no, I really, I don't know if I've heard that before, but I know it is all about like when we, and like the energy that we join into, that we align with. Our alignment in life is everything. Like if we're surrounding ourselves with people who aren't going anywhere, like stagnant, is that the right word? Stagnant. Like when we're stagnant, we just don't grow. And inside, we don't feel alive. We feel like you have to be moving. Action is always about like, so, and that's where again, like, working on yourselves and who we're surrounding ourselves with is so key. I know so I love how this week I actually went through the slides before we got on here. So I know that we're going to cover the next slide, what I want to talk about.
I think that is my cue to go forward then. Here you go.
Protect your peace. I think this has been my journey for quite a while here. I'll let you cover the slide first, and then I'll talk.
Okay, perfect. So yes, protect your peace because protect your peace like it's your purpose. Your peace is worth protecting from negativity, including negative conversations, just negative talk in general, draining people, toxic content. I mean, we all post content on social media, and from time to time we do get caught up in the scroll, but there are some scrolls that's very toxic. So got to keep our peace and protect us from toxic content. Also, unhealthy comparison, which is something that we talked about last week. Definitely do not need to do any kind of comparison to anybody in any situation, whether it's business, whether it's life, because it's not healthy. And then overextending yourself. We all have to have time that we have to take a break, to rest. So make sure that your peace is being protected. And you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to take care of yourself first. And Carmen, I don't know about you, but that hit home. That hit home for me personally because I do so much. And I always have to remember, Sarah, you have to take care of yourself first before you can help others.
I think that is actually the key to life, Sarah, is we've got to really like, we can't give to others when we've got nothing to give. It's like that old saying from the airplane, put on your own oxygen mask first. And I think that that is key. And so how do we really take care of ourselves? Well, I think all of that is like everything that we just talked about: negative talk, draining people, toxic content, unhealthy comparison, and overextending yourself. So negative talk, like if we're we all have it in us. We're all human. So this isn't a beat up you kind of conversation. This is an awareness. It's like, what are we saying about ourselves, about other people? We all are guilty of, getting into, negative conversations or gossip or whatever it is. We all are. So, but it's when you are become aware of what you're speaking and what you're listening to, it starts to shift. And I tell you, like, I was watching something on like the Esther, the Bible, the story of Esther in the Bible. Like she became queen. She was like, just really a nobody really, and then she became queen. Um, One of the biggest, like the wisdom that was spoke to her was like, there's times to speak and there's times to be silent. And that really spoke to me because sometimes we can get ourselves caught up in the wrong conversations or the wrong things. And we've just got to really take a step back and just readjust that. It's like, so I think it's just really important. And one of the things I really try to do is I try not to be watching things on TV or things that, it really affects what goes into our eyes, goes right into our soul. And I think that, if we really truly understand that, it is so important to be really cautious of what we are putting into our minds and into our mind. Like a lot of times at nighttime when I go to bed, if I can't sleep or something, I just put scripture on because I know it's feeding me and it's feeding my soul. And those words are never void. So what comes in will come out, right? So I think that is just really, really important.
I agree. And it also goes back to not only like what we're watching, but also what we're eating, the medications or supplements that we put in our body. All of that has a factor as well that make sure you're inputting things that are positive and not negative, including the music that you listen to. That's another factor.
Absolutely.
So honor your needs. Your needs are valid, and your needs do matter, and your needs count. Couple of things, couple of points here is you need to recognize what it is that you need. You need to give yourself permission, communicate clearly, take action with love and positivity, and reevaluate and just adjust, right? You teach others how to treat you by the way you treat yourself. So if someone sees you being negative to yourself, that's how they're going to start treating you.
I think that is we could really do a deep dive on all of this, you guys. But honestly, like honoring your needs, and also, yeah. So when we honor ourselves, we do treat people, teach people how to treat us, how we engage in conversations, how we manage ourselves, right? And honoring our own needs also by and also honoring others, right? So like having a little bit of an awareness of other people where they are in their lives before like we make assumptions, we make it, we kind of assume things sometimes and we think we know stuff, but we really don't know what's going on in anybody else's life either. And I feel like the better we take care of ourselves, our nervous system is a little bit more calm. So we're not going into a reactive state. And I'm speaking to the choir, guys, because I know for me, lots of times, like when I receive a few messages or something like this, it gets me off and I can tend to react. And I know Shorty's not on here, but if he was, believe me, he's been one of the people who, and Marlene, who have helped me like calm down, Carmen. Like when we are honoring ourselves and we are taking care of ourselves, we respond better. That's when it goes right back to the perspective thing again with the traumas in our lives too, right? So when we recognize that everybody has a different perception of the exact same conversation, but we've got to honor ourselves and honor others.
100%. And with that, you have to decide with intention. Every choice is a chance to create the life that you want. And we all here have made the choice to be part of Partner Co because we are trying to create the life that we are wanting, right? So pause, don't rush your decisions. Evaluate, consider your values and the goals that you have. Choose, pick what aligns with your purpose. Commit, show up for the life that you choose. And you are always one decision away from a completely different life. And I don't know about you, Carmen, that was something, a decision that I made was not doing meteorology full time, right? And doing Partner Co full time. That was a huge decision. That took me a while to pause, evaluate, to choose that I wanted to do this, right? But then also having the commitment behind it. I try to show up every day. Actually, I'm going to change that verbiage. I do show up every day. And that's something that you guys need to do as well, is not only show up and commit, but when you catch yourself being negative to yourself, mentally document it. Okay, I need not to do that. I need to change the way I'm speaking because it's going to help build my momentum and then also brings me peace, right? Which then goes to what we just talked about. That's how others are going to start treating you, right? Talk negative about yourself, people are going to start treating you negatively. Start talking positively about yourself, people are going to start treating you positively. But again, you are always one decision away from a completely different life. Carmen, what are your thoughts on that?
I could go so many different directions. I think that's where I get kind of like I go here. First of all, what I want to say is each person that's on the Zoom right now has has made the commitment. You chose to be here. You're here, showing up for the life you choose. And I want to just add to that too. Like, when we make decisions, just remember that we can adjust that anytime we want. So that's where it's like, we want to come in and know, like, making a decision takes courage, right, Sarah? Like, to make that decision, we're terrified of failure, of missing this, or doing it wrong, or whatever it might be. But to make that decision, it's like, some call the universe or whatever it is starts to align with that decision for you. And so a lot of people that we meet every day that are going to be coming and joining our business, they're already busy in their life. They're doing things either they love, or they're doing things that they don't love, but they're doing what they have to get through life. And most people, I think, get really clustered. Like it's like you get caught up in the race of life, that we got to do this, we got to do that. And so I think that it's really important to have that awareness for ourselves too, because in order to make a decision, we do have to have some peace of mind. We don't want to make decisions based on fear, and based on just on the wrong, on getting rushing into stuff. I think it's really important for us to just, when we honor ourselves, we have a better posture. We have a better, sorry, I'm trying to, my words are not coming out the way I want, but basically deciding with intention is based on, again, going back to the awareness of, like, why, the questions that we ask ourselves, like, why are we here? What makes us get out of bed in the morning? What excites us? What makes us cry? And learning about ourselves helps us to align better and stay in that peace, and then just be able to make decisions with intention. Is what I was trying to kind of say.
Hey, you said it amazing. You really did. And that's something that I want to make sure you guys take away from today is with anything in life, even with our business here, when you go to make a decision, make sure I was gonna say the acronym is PECC, P-E-C-C, pause, evaluate, choose, and commit. And just make sure you do that because you like the end, like the bottom says, and I don't want to be repeating it. I'm kind of getting lost in my words too, because there's so much I want to say. But a decision can completely change your life. And it's not something to take with a grain of salt. You need to take time, focus on, hey, this is something that I want to decide to do, or, you're considering of making this decision, right? But just don't rush into it and do evaluate and do make sure that it aligns with you, right? And then also be ready to commit because once you've gone all in, having that commitment's something that you just definitely need to have, or it's just gonna fall apart, right, Carmen?
That's right. We want to take action.
Yep.
Oh, here we go. Isn't that interesting? This is your chapter two. Go ahead, Sarah.
So this is your chapter two, right? So this company is growing. This team is growing. You are growing. Your story matters, your voice matters, and your future matters. The leaders who decide now will be the ones whose stories are written into the future of this company. And I don't know about you guys. I want my name. I want my name written right. I want to be one of those top rankers. May not be a top ranker in Canada, Carmen, but
Hey, it's all global ranker. You know what? Okay, so this is great. I just want to say right here, everything that we are talking about, everything that we have, basically shared today, really aligns with where with Partner Co. And so obviously why we're here is Partner Co. Why we joined Partner Co. is about our, we start off by making that decision for ourselves, for our family. And I was want to talk about what excites me, because this is the thing. When people join you in a business, they want to know that you're like, when we speak with conviction, when we speak with vision, when we speak with heart, like, knowing, I know that people in my life know that I'm doing Partner Co. They know why I'm doing Partner Co. They know that this is I believe in this industry so much. And I've been in this industry for 20 years. And here's what I know is I've never been so excited. I remember joining this industry 20 years ago with that same excitement, and I saw a vision for myself as I was a single mom, and I was able to, I thought, oh wow, a lady, a single mom was able to financially set herself free for her and her children, and be able to stay at home with those children and be a full-time mom while creating an income for herself. Well, to me that was huge, because back then I had three little kids at home. So that story really spoke to me. And then I went through life. I went through a few companies, or like two or three companies. In the meantime, maybe a few other things I failed at. And not that I failed at the other companies, but I'm just saying there was things in my life that tripped me up over the last, 20 years, as I'm sure you have some things too, right? So when this company, Partner Co, came along a year and a half, I was praying for something. I was praying for a solution. And when Partner Co showed up, it I really didn't believe that was what the answer was. I didn't understand. So that's where I'm saying, we don't know what the person's thinking. They don't know what we know, right? And so, once I got to meet the owners and fly to Utah and do all the things and start to really learn that this business, there was so much more than what met the eye on Facebook, right? Like the system of growth posts that we see. Yeah, we see these wonderful testimonies. But here it is, like this company, I feel like the more, like it's been a year and a half just about for me that I've been with Partner Co. And, when we see them laying out, phase two or chapter two with this business, this company is only 3 years old. We're launching Moringa, like I think it's next, I don't know, next week or next, like in a few, shortly. And it's coming, and it'll be the best moringa on the planet. I know that for a fact. These owners and the corporate, what they pour into us, they pour into our compensation plan, they pour into our products, they pour into us. And so we have everything we need. We have the solution. To know that with all your heart, there's no, like there, and it doesn't mean that you're going to come in here and make $1 million next month. But what it does mean is if you show up and you work on yourself, you follow the system that's in place that works, that's already been proven to work, and you stay consistent with that. You're going to have rough days. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have doubt. You're going to have fear. We all get it. But it's like, but the ones that show up, the ones that stay the path, you guys, each person on this Zoom, anybody that's in Partner Co right now that stays consistent is going to win. And it's going to change your life in ways you had no idea. And I know that. And I'll tell you right now, the harder it is, when we get feeling like we're getting tripped up about stuff, or and that's again being really careful about protecting that peace. But the more things the more uh obstacles or things that get in your way, just know that that's probably a sign that God's got you right where he wants you. He's teaching you, he's forming you, he's preparing you. We have all been equipped for such a time as this. I am so pumped. And so now with this is your chapter two. So we want to make a decision for ourselves, for our futures. Decide today, I'm all in. And I really want you to put that in the chat. I'm all in, because why not? You've got nothing to lose, nothing to lose. Make that decision and know that you can do it. You can, you will. And one of the things, sorry, Sarah, I'm going to go babbling here, but I remember back in another company I was with, there was a top income earner that he had 3 questions he asked people. And so, and I just really, they've always stuck out in my mind. The 3 questions you ask somebody is, this is good. I can't remember. No. Um, are you able? Are you able? And you would answer yes. Are you able? Are you willing? Okay, sorry. It starts with, are you willing? That's the first question. Are you willing? Yes. If you ask somebody else these questions, when you get a yes, you get more yeses, right? Are you willing? Yes. Are you able? Yes. Will you? Yes. I'm all in. I'm making a decision. That's it.
And see, I just jotted that down because that's something I'm going to carry with every single presentation, Zoom conversation that I'm having. Because I mean, I want the yeses. I don't know about you guys. I know you do. I know exactly you do. All right, guys. Well, we're going to end it here. We want you to drop one word in the chat. What is one word that describes the leader you're becoming? And we've given you some examples. And if it's something that's not part of the examples that we've listed, feel free to go ahead and just drop it down. And also, for the video, those watching this recording, make sure you drop it in the comments because we want to know. Are you trying to become a bold, healed, courageous, aligned, consistent, focused, disciplined, faithful, confident? Who's not trying to become confident, right? Or fearless? And something that we want to remind you is we are better together. We are building with purpose. We are leading with vision. And we are just getting started. Carmen, you want to close with anything?
I just want to close with, I just want to say thank you. I was just going through, I wasn't even listening because I was reading the chat. See, I can only do one thing at a time.
That's
We
okay.
are better together. We are building with purpose. No, I love this, you guys. It's 9:52, and I just want to say thank you to each of you for coming on our Zoom today. And I really, our goal is to hope that, I just want to bring value to all of you. So I hope that each of you got something out of the Zoom that will help you have an amazing day and an amazing week, which leads to an amazing month, which leads to an amazing year. Thank you for showing up. We love you.
Thank you guys. Love you all.